think we'll go ahead and get started. Can everybody hear me okay? Miss Hackman, can you hear me?
I can.
Fantastic. Well, good evening, Bulldogs and families of our Bulldogs, and welcome to tonight's early college question and answering. We're excited to share more information about our early college program with you and why it is a benefit for our students to take advantage of these opportunities. I guess we'll start off by introducing ourselves. I'll start. My name is Mr. Bobbitt, and I get the opportunity to serve as the post-secondary counselor at New Albany. That means I primarily work with seniors on next steps. So that could be military, that could be apprenticeships, that could be trade schools. But for many of our students, it's attending a 2- and 4-year college or university. So my job is to work with them through that process, whether it's applications or scholarships, and showing them how the dual credits and the early college credits that they earn while in high school apply to their college degree. Mary Beth?
I'm Mary Beth Hackman. I'm just ending my 19th year at New Albany High School. I've been the individual who's been the lead on the dual credit or early college at New Albany High School, and I help all grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. Even if your child is not in my part of the alphabet, I still assist them. And yesterday we started the process of having our underclassmen all apply for the early college if they were interested in it. And one thing that I will just bring up is if you ever send your child's counselor an email, this symbol, this red symbol is at the bottom of each one of the counselor's email. If you click on it, it'll give you the entire information, the electronic folder about the early college as well. So
absolutely. Yeah, so again, tonight, hopefully you've had the opportunity to look at the video or to review the video that we shared with your students. But just kind of a summary, if you will, why early college and what is early college? New Albany High School Early College Program is just an opportunity for students to earn college credit while they're in high school. And this can come in different forms. This could be through classes that we refer as dual credit courses. These are courses that are counting towards high school graduation and towards a college degree. And this could also be through AP classes. But the whole goal is for students to earn as much college credits as they can while in high school so that they're saving time and they're saving a lot of money. Ms. Hackman, before we get into questions, would you mind sharing a little bit about the process and the application?
I will. I shared with Mr. Bobbitt, I believe it was yesterday, I said, you know, I've been doing the dual credit, it seems forever. When we first started the dual credit at New Albany High School, I think the first year, and this was probably, 8 or 9 years ago, I think we only had 8 or 9 candidates that took dual credit. This upcoming year, we have 631 students that will be trying for dual credit. When I said 7 or 8 students, about 7 or 8 years ago, we started having the relationship with Ivy Tech of students earning this course certificate. So if you see the wording STGEC, it stands for Statewide Transfer General Education Core. The other initials that you may be seeing are AGS, Associate of General Studies. As I said, 7 or 8 years ago, we only had just a handful of students that earned that distinction. The core classes are basically 10 courses that a student can earn this certificate. This year, we have 73 candidates. 21 are going toward the associate degree, and the remainder are going toward that course certificate. The benefit of the program is you may, and many of you may have had another student, another child that have gone through our doors at New Albany High School, but it's not uncommon for students to come back and say, I registered as a junior, I registered as a sophomore, I'm going in at XYZ amount of credits. So there's a lot of students that are benefiting from it, that basically that course certificate is eliminating a lot of the courses that students may take as a freshman. Now, I always kind of add in a disclaimer in that if you're doing some specialized programs, it could be that maybe a class doesn't transfer, but that course certificate and the associate degree, especially the course certificate, if your child selects a state-supported public institution in the state of Indiana, that core curriculum is supposed to transfer. So we have more and more interest. Now, as I explained to Mr. Bobbitt, because this is his first year, and as I said, I'm ending my 19th year, we have a lot of students that will try for that certificate, that course certificate. All of the courses are offered at New Albany High School, which means your child never really has to leave our walls at New Albany High School. Classes like the English 11 AP when they're a junior. Speech is offered to them, that oral communications, public speaking is offered to them when they're a senior at New Albany High School. Spanish, French, those are part of that course certificate. We have students now that can earn college credit. Now that one is for a fee. They can earn college credit through IU Bloomington for German. And then we now have a new relationship with Ball State. I believe we're ending our second year where students can get credit for Latin. Another category of the classes, if you have watched the video, would be Chem 2 AP, a biology AP, or an advanced earth space. That is the category that a lot of students struggle with because they're like, I'm not going to be a science major. I'm not interested in that. Well, if they don't want to do one of those 3 courses, then Ivy Tech offers them, once again, another set of initials, sorry. They offer them the chance to take something in their TACO U. TACO U stands for Take a Course on Us. They'll afford the student the opportunity to take a course for $50, and the student has to purchase their textbook. So that fulfills that requirement. The last category would be like a U.S. history or a government course that we teach at New Albany High School. But being a counselor at New Albany High School, I'm all about students taking courses that they want to take that helps them reach their career goal. So if any of those courses that we've named, if they're not interested, Ivy Tech will offer them and afford them the opportunity to take a course that would fit in one of those categories if they would choose to go on their campus. Now, of course, this year with COVID-19, everything was online. So kids really like that because they didn't have to go in and take a course for 8 weeks. And you notice I said 8 weeks. When I went to school, all classes were, what was a semester? 16-week, 18-week semester. Ivy Tech's courses are 8-week semesters. So students can get an opportunity to take a lot more classes in a short amount of time. I made reference a moment ago about the Associate of General Studies. Now that STGEC, I said, majority of those classes, if not all, your child can take at New Albany High School. But how does one obtain the Associate of General Studies? That's a little bit more difficult. But as I said, we've got 21 students this year out of the senior class that are pursuing them. And next year, even more. They can combine things such as earning a 3, 4, or 5 on their AP exam. They may choose to take a TACO U course. And then there's some other courses that we do teach at New Albany High School that go toward that associate degree. So if your child is taking Project Lead the Way courses, engineering courses, they're taking a second semester of the junior AP English course, that is how they can obtain that associate degree. So I think students are finding out, especially if you're planning at that freshman year. So if you've got younger siblings that will be coming to New Albany, the sooner you can start mapping out what you want to do, I think you'll be able to see that goal more clearly. So that's kind of the STGEC and the associate degree in a nutshell.
We really appreciate that, Ms. Hackman. And, you know, Ms. Hackman shared her background. So before I joined the team at New Albany, I was at the University of Louisville for a decade. And I can't tell you how many students that I would see who would come in with a couple dual credits, how that would, just from the start, set them apart from their peers who maybe didn't take courses at the high school level with more academic rigor. So that's another one of those benefits of these courses. Yes, you are saving time. Yes, you are saving money, but you're also going to be better prepared for courses at the next level. Now, when we talk about saving money, sometimes that gets lost in context. So I just want to throw this up on your screen, and I hope that you can see it. Just if you were to take a group of classes at New Albany High School, like an AP, a comp language, or a U.S. history, a pre-cal, or a Spanish 3, you could see how this would translate when it comes to saving money at an Ivy Tech, or maybe an IU Bloomington, or even a University of Louisville. So that's one of the questions that we often get is, if my student is going to take some classes that are going to count as maybe Ivy Tech credit, but maybe they're interested in another institution, is it really going to transfer? More than likely, yes. and it'll be on myself and maybe Miss Hackman, and I will work with whatever college your child decides to go to with their admissions rep to show you how that credit will transfer. So at this time, I'd really like to open it up for questions that you all have about the early college program, about the content, or about the program in general.
I would like to throw one more thing out there, Mr. Bobbitt. I know a lot of times parents and schools do have concerns that, my goodness, my child's 17 years old, they're going to be a freshman, but they already have credits as a junior or half of a sophomore. But what we find is more and more students are coming back and saying, because I had those credits, I might be able to double major, finish in. Would you say that that's what you're hearing, Mr. Bobbitt?
Absolutely. Right now we have a student who is at IU Bloomington, and because she took so many dual credit classes at New Albany High School, she's going to be graduating from IU with a triple major. So 4 degrees by the time she's 22. Not a bad start. So at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. You can put it in the chat, or you can unmic. Completely up to you. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
If your child chooses not to go to a state school, but is taking these dual credits and these AP classes and stuff, what is your sense of how many of those credits might, I mean, I know it's totally different school to school, but in general, do you have any sense on that? Yeah,
absolutely. So, of course, depending on the institution, depending on the degree, is going to kind of change how the credit is going to go over. But a lot of the courses that are offered, if your child is pursuing the STGEC or the AGS, is going to fall in the general core or the common core, depending on what the university, they'll call it something different. But it's going to be some of those prereq classes, your English, your speech communication, your social science. So majority of those are going to transfer to an institution. But again, how it's going to transfer will just depend on the school and the degree.
So I'll add in, Robin, before I came to New Albany High School, for 15 years, I was a counselor at New Albany High School, at Ivy Tech Community College in Sellersburg. So when I would hear people say, oh gosh, the credits won't transfer, now they have high transferability. 30 years ago, they transferred many times out of state before they did in their own state. Yeah. So yeah. Let me give an example. When students are worried, for instance, would U.S. History AP transfer? It's a dual credit course, but it's also an AP exam. So AP is known throughout the world. So even if a student had dual credit, if they took that AP test and scored a 3, 4, or a 5, they'll also have that same class. It shows the same way, but they could also take their AP scores and try to see how that university or college would transfer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Robin, what I put on the screen right now, this is just kind of like a basic anatomy of a degree. When I'm talking to a student, most degrees are made up of these 5 components. You have your electives, your major hours, your programmatic, your supporting courses, and then like your general core. So a lot of the courses that your student will have an opportunity to take is going to take care of the bottom of that pyramid. And ultimately what that does to students is, if it takes out that section, then we're freeing up those electives at the top of the pyramid. And then we can add another major, a minor. We could, do a lot with that when it comes to degree planning.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
What other questions do we have?
I know sometimes parents do get concerned about students taking so many AP or dual credit at a time. We tell students pace themselves. If you do not feel that, I will always tell students, don't take it just to take it. But if they tell me they're going to go on to college, then why not get the exposure to a college course while you're in the comfort of your own teacher and your own friends and your own school? So, we encourage them, don't take on too much, but it is going to be a taste of what college is going to be like.
Ms. Hackman,
yes, ma'am.
This may not be the meeting for this, and you can email me offline if it's not, but
gotcha.
At what point do you guys actually start talking to the kids about their college choices, and how does that whole process work from a guidance counseling perspective? If tonight is not appropriate, please answer it elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I would say if it normally weren't the COVID year,
right.
As a freshman, we'll start with freshman body. As a freshman, we will see freshmen if they come in and out of the office, lunch duty, you see as they trickle through. In January, after they actually have the first set of their grades, we have a credit check form, and we'll start asking students, what do you think you're going to do for your future? Because in January, February, and March of every year, we start program planning. So we're asking students, what do you want to take? Of course, you have to take English, you have to take math, you have to take science, you have to take personal finance. Hey, have you had your PE yet? And then all of a sudden, once we get all the meat and potatoes out of the way, then they get to pick 3 things they want to do. We encourage students, what are you thinking about? Oh, you want to do programming. We do an intro to computer programming, a computer programming 1. Do you know that's dual credit? Do you know that one with an AP 3, 4, or 5? You can get credit. So that really starts in the beginning. It is, and I would put myself, if I backed myself back to 1976 to 80, and someone said, what do you want to do? I don't know if I could have said I know what I want to do. So as I tell students, that's the beauty of high school. Not only are you getting your diploma, but it's kind of trying before you buy. Try something, see if you might like it. Yeah. If it fits that category, not everyone is going to take culinary courses or band or etc. We have students that come and say, I want to do linguistics. I've taken 3 years of Spanish, but now I want to take French. So I think we really do kind of work on that. We light that fire January, February, and March of their freshman year.
Do they take an assessment of their interests and stuff? Like when I was in high school, I remember we had to take all this stuff. That was a gazillion years ago, but we had to take all this stuff. And then the guidance counselor, and I didn't grow up here, but they stuck it in a system and then it spit out. And they're like, here's 30 schools across the country that might be of interest to you based on your SAT scores and your interests and whatever.
There's some things that the state of Indiana offers. I can say, unless a student asks me personally, I do not do that, but I can. I did it for many years. But there's things like a roadmap, road trip, things through the state of Indiana students can do. Ball State even has an online assessment. Some people will ask about like Myers-Briggs, what matches personality. There's so many different tools that can be used. I know that we do teach a college called Career Information Exploration. That's kind of a wide open curriculum that many things can be taught there. But I would like to see us do more of that. I think it's great.
Yeah, just sorry. Well, we were in the mood about college.
Now, a lot of students and a lot of parents want to know if my child wants to do courses, how do I do that and maybe go to Prosser? Many of our students who choose to get a skill, a vocation, can also still take those as many. I guess when we're talking about early college, not everybody that will take the AP or the dual credit courses will end up with that SPGEC or the associate degree. But I think that students can come out of high school with having as many courses underneath their belt, then they're better off.
All right, what other questions do you all have?
Mr. Bobbitt, do you want to talk about that? Is it the QR code, what's going to be in the classrooms?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can pull that up. So, yeah, so here we go. So next week, Ms. Hackman and I are actually going to be going to every English class just to follow back up with students who are interested in learning about the early college program. So right now on your screen should be the QR code. You should be able to, depending on your phone, you should be able to take a picture or scan it, and it'll send you to the early college folder. There you'll find additional resources, you'll find the application, and some more promotional material with our higher education partners.
Now, if you'll ask your child when you're home this evening or you see them, you want to ask, hey, did you do your early college application? Students, it's really going to be a 3-step process. So the first process is they had to apply. And so it's this http:// I believe it's dual enrollment like .com. That is on the daily announcement. It was on the announcement, I believe, yesterday and also attached to this program. A lot of students, especially the younger ones, will not know their social security number. So they're going to need that on that secure site to get their early college information submitted. What's going to happen is, as soon as their application is received, we have been working for the past 2 weeks and trying to determine who's going to have to take the knowledge assessment test through Ivy Tech. So it's not just applying for the early college. Once you do that, we'll start looking through, hey, like Ben Smith, he's going to be in English Lit next year. Well, if they're in that, unless you have a 2.6 GPA or higher, then that student is going to have to take the knowledge assessment. The beauty of the knowledge assessment, they get to take it in the comfort of their own home at their own pace. If they don't pass the test gives them some remediation or a little brush up information that they can do, and then it'll work it to where hopefully, fingers crossed, that score is achieved at least a 70, and then they're eligible for the class. So I would say most people who wanted the credit, if they followed through, tested, we used our advisory time every day for about the last 3 weeks of our qualifying time last year. So if students wanted the opportunity to test, they were given the opportunity. So you just want to make sure that you ask your child, did you do your application? Do you need your Social Security number? Because most probably do not know it. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Yeah, any other questions?
And I will tell you, you know, even though people are coming back in the building, and we're so glad to see so many students' faces, you can always reach out to your child's counselor. You can always reach out to me, and I would be happy to send a Google Meet or call you, phone, email. Sometimes so much information to email, it's just easier to talk. So if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to your child's counselor, or you can reach out to me if you have a quick question. I don't mind at all. Or Mr. Bobbitt.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, it's Debbie Smith.
Howdy.
Hey, I put over in the chat, and I just know this because Carly did that this morning.
Thank
you might
you.
remind parents or their child that as soon as they do the registration, their child will get a text, and that text is going to tell them their C number. And we know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
So you may want to remind them to remind their child they need to make sure they keep that C number for everything in the future. So thought that was something you might want to remind them about.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. That C number enables them to be able to look up their transcript at Ivy Tech, because what we're going to have to do as soon as each child, and as I said, right now our count is 631 students who are going to be trying for dual credit next year. The student will need that C number to be able to get in their Ivy Tech transcript. And even more importantly, it'll be that step 2, they're going to have to enroll themselves. So the enrollment process is going to be a lot quicker this year. So once school starts, we're going to have to come into the classroom in the first few days of school after our drop add period, and each child's going to have to register themselves. So we're going to say, hey, Carly, get on your Ivy Tech application, get on there, and you need to register yourself for, and then we'll tell them you're sitting in blank's class. That's the only button you should click, is that class. So they're going to enroll themselves. So they're changing a lot of things, but dual credit's just a great opportunity. The early college is even better opportunity.
For sure. So the bad news is the price of a college degree in higher ed is skyrocketing. But the good news is you and your child is at New Albany High School. So there's plenty of opportunities to earn college credit while they're enrolled during their academic career, so that they can lessen that cost once they graduate. What other questions do we have? And I'm going to go ahead and throw my email in the chat in case maybe tonight you're thinking, you know what, I do have a question. Feel free to shoot me an email. And Ms. Hackman, when you get a chance, maybe throw yours also in the chat. We're here. We'd love to answer any questions that you have, again, about the program, about the content of the curriculum, or in general, what we can answer. So any other questions? Anything?
And if not, feel free to go back, watch that video again. If you have questions, I know this is being recorded in case anyone has questions, or and I appreciate that, Kate. You say soaking it all in. Oh yeah, it's a lot of information, and I think students are really amazed, especially, as we're working with seniors, and I'm seeing, wow, 73 kids, that's 1 out of every 6 of the senior class is getting something recognized through early college. which is wonderful. And as I said, next year it's even more. It's even more.
It blows my mind to think about graduating high school and college at the same time. I mean, that's outstanding. So
you can never plan too early.
That's right.
Just a reminder, thanks for everybody that came, but just a reminder, if you didn't submit the application when you're ready to do that, it was in that email that I sent. You can click and submit the application when you want to go into that cohort if you've not already submitted it.
Okay, thank you all. We're here to help.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody jumping on the call tonight. Have a great night. And again, let us know if we can answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. We'll hang around a minute or two in case somebody wants to ask something.
Thank you.